Hi, this is Tino with Music You Can See. I'm here with Jay Davenport. He's currently the drummer for the John Mayall Band. Hi, Jay. How's it going?
It's good.
Out of Chicago, South Side, where Bad Bad Leroy Brown was originally from.
Yeah, that's the old stomping grounds. That's still my stomping grounds. I just live out.
Now you're up in Gurney.
Up in the North End, yeah.
Let's talk about you. You have a long career really in blues. And we were talking earlier that your drums didn't used to get mics, so that's how you learned how to be such a hard hitter.
Well, it was kind of a Chicago Blues Cup thing. The whole scene was Mesa Boogies and Marshall amps and packed clubs and no mics on the drums. So all of the guys were just muscled up and kind of play through it. So then you get out here where they have all of the acoustic perfect halls and $200,000 sound systems, and you're still like, okay, you can relax now. You don't have to fill the house all by yourself.
So you picked up drums at a young age. You used to play down in your basement until your dad got home.
Yeah, well, when he got home from work, it was time to cut it out.
What made you pick up the drums?
I think I always had the drums in my hands and in my mind, and I used to get in trouble at school for drumming on the desk, and that was years before I started. I actually had sticks and drums to play on, so it was just always kind of there. But we would play boxes, and any guitar, you take a couple strings off, now you got a bass. We'd do anything just to get our hands on any kind of instrument, but you could always find a drum.
Nice. And then, so your parents eventually got you a kit, and
yeah, to their, they regretted that immediately.
But what's cool about drummers, you're usually like in 5 bands at one time, which is kind of a.
Well, yeah, I had a little period where I was playing with everybody, and that was fun because you just felt like you were in demand and people wanted you, but it's been a while since that's been me. But I've been out with John, and we disappear for quite a while. Then I go home and stay. I don't really go out. My life is really not as out when I'm not working with John. I'm kind of at home with my kids.
Well, it's good because, you get to see the world when you are out with John. Mm-hmm. So when you get home, you can finally just, family time.
Yes, sure.
Any of your kids going to be musicians?
Well, let's see. I have a 25-year-old son. He never played any instruments.
Okay.
He played football. He was good. Very, very good. But had some knee problems. He had knee surgeries. And how I feel about kids playing football now has changed dramatically. He's fine, luckily.
Right.
But he had his time with that game, and he's pretty serious about it. We went through that together, coached the whole 9 yards. Now I have a 2-year-old.
Wow, what a big stretch.
Yeah. And it's a wonderful kid, but I would do anything to have one that just would play the drums. We've already had him playing. He has a little kit, and we'll see how that turns out. But sure. if he develops the same kind of interest in it that I did, I will be tickled.
Now, today's a real iconic day, I think. You're in the studio with not just John Mayall, your band leader, but Joe Walsh. Gosh, what's that like having?
That was it was really special to be part of that and to watch it develop and actually have a little contribution there. It was not just the aspect of being with Joe Walsh, but also the aspect of being with Joe Walsh as he and John meet and collaborate on the spot and become friends. And that was
it's history. It's history being made today, this moment.
I guess so, but it's just weird because where I cut my teeth, you had all kinds of people like at that level finish your gig, and then there's some pretty substantial guys sitting down at the end of the bar. It didn't really strike home until I got outside of the scene a little bit more and found out how reverent.
So you thought everyone had that experience?
Because of where we were, it didn't seem like there was something at the time. I understood. Soon after I started,
right.
But at the time when I first got around that, it just seemed like everybody was just kind of, on that particular scene, and I knew that people had, huge careers and everything, but it was the royalty and the reverence that people had is something I discovered after getting away from the Chicago scene and really dealing more with people that were seeing that from the outside.
And it's a great place to start too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it took me a while to find my home base at the blues when I started playing the drums, but I got there relatively quickly and I stayed there. Yeah, when I first started playing with John, I understand that feeling.
Yeah.
It feels like what I do with my hands.
Right.
Yeah.
You know you're in a special place.
Yeah, it's like, okay, let's see if I can get through this encounter without embarrassing myself, or feeling stupid.
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
7 years later, you're still here. So.
Yeah. Like I said, I played with everybody back in Chicago at a certain time. The people who were doing it in the mid-'80s, and a lot of the stuff that I started my blues career, I had been playing with the Dells, and Marvin had to have surgery. And so they were going to be working for a year while they had the surgery and recovered. And it was about 24 years old at the time, and it needed to. And gigs like that weren't that easy for me to come by.
Sure.
So, a guy at the blues, on the blues scene, in Sugar Blue, needed a drummer. They told me about, and I went and auditioned for him. And I played all of my stuff, and he said, "You can't play the blues, man."
He said you couldn't play the blues?
I couldn't. I mean, I never,
Wow.
I just thought,
right.
Sure, just play the songs. It's like, yeah, I decided. But, he was gracious enough to give me the opportunity to learn. He connected me with Bo Diddley's drummer, Clifton James, and Clifton took me under his wing. Funny story, one time I would hang with them and drive them around, and we would get from time to time a chance to sit down at the drum kit, and I had one at my parents' house, so we were on the south side. I drove, and we stopped by there, and he walks in the door, and my mom and dad were like, "Is that Cliff?" And they're like, "Hey, Heart and Burn." And he knew them. They used to all hang out together.
Wow.
Yeah.
So small world.
From a family side, not from a musical side.
Right, and
but,
he didn't know who you were that guy.
No,
his kid.
Wow. He just now was this guy who was bugging the hell out of him. And then I played with him for quite a while, and then I played with my buddy Melvin Taylor, who was just this extraordinary. So it's like the Chicago scene after the huge part, and then the guys. But then there was this second wave of just really Billy Branch and Carl Weathersby and all of these guys that they took to the electric side a little bit.
Okay.
And that's where I entered the scene. Sugar Blue had just come off of doing the harmonica on Some Girls. So, that's it. There was the whole fusion with the blues and the rock and roll. So that was the guy I was playing with. And he had just won a Grammy on that album with Stevie Ray Vaughan. It was a compilation, like a blues album. And he was on that. He had done Another Man Done Gone. So from playing with him, I think I really learned how to accompany a great harmonica player. So
yeah, that's true.
So when John gave me an opportunity, I think I had really spent a lot of time understanding where they lie in the whole mix of the guitar player plays a lick and the harmonica player and the answer in the piano, like yes or no, and he's kind of leading the thing. So I was well versed in that end of the blues, and then also the electric, all out, 16, 30-second note craziness, because both of those guys, Melvin and Sugar, were both considered, virtuoso musicians on their instruments, just as far as being technical ability and ferocity.
And look at you wear Cubs.
Well, I wear this. I have about 30. And I wear them all the time until the Cubs win the World Series. Then you'll see me in something else,
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Lifelong fan. My grandmother used to take me right past. I'm a Southsider, so she took me right past. We took the Red Line right past Comiskey Park. Right down to Wrigley Field and watched Fergie Jenkins, dueling with Bob Gibson. So it was, it wasn't a choice. And then got to go and sit in that same stadium with my dad on his knee at the Bears games with Gale Sayers and Dick Buckus. So they ruined me at an early age. I was programmed.
No,
you know.
nice,
So
nice.
yeah.
Wow, that's very cool. That's one thing that's good about music and sports. It kind of brings a family together. So
Yeah.
it's important.
Well, music to our minor part. Like, get out! Those no.
Right. Tino Bluesy News. We've been speaking to Jay Davenport, drummer for John Mayall.